Not bad. How's it going, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Keith here from Come On The Hoop Celtic with Liam. So we're here to talk about the victory against Aberdeen at home. 10 days ago, we got the same results. Man of the match. Liam, what do you think of today? Like, very, very similar to what we seen 10 days ago.
Yeah, a win's a win. And the goal from Edouard, I know it was a deflection, but you've got to take that chance, of a shot, whether it goes wide or if it goes in. If it goes in, it's a bonus. But I just think that we were really solid defensively, especially.
Oh, we're really good defensively.
With
especially with Laxall. Laxall actually played quite well today. I think it was in the first half. No, it wasn't the first half. It was around the 55th minute. He pulled off a cracking slide tackle. So they were on the break. Canberra was on the break and done quite well there. So, I was impressed with the football we played today in the first half. Obviously, it's an assist for Christie. It's a clean sheet for Scott Payne. At the same time, it felt like nothing's really changed. I know it's only one game later from Neil Lennon's regime. It's the same coaching staff. It was the same formation we played. Scott Brown played quite well. He got stuck in, done the grafty work. Colin McGregor was the same. He got stuck in. Polish Paddy had a couple of chances on the play. Great cross by John Joe Kenny, and he didn't score in the first half from it. But the biggest talking point was obviously Edouard at the end of it. He had a chance to pass it to Sorrow to make it 2-0, and he decided to literally take the whole defence on. And then at the end, when the full time, he turned that laughing at half time or full time, sure, I should have passed it. So you were talking about that on Celtic TV. That's the thing that could be the problem here. That some players I think they're bigger than their ego, they're living on their ego.
Yeah, he is looking for a big money move, obviously. He's only 22 just now. So, but at the same time, if you've got a player that's open next to you, pass to him. You also get praise for assists as well. So, that's what other managers that are looking to sign him will be looking from. Is he a selfish player? Is he not? Is he a team player? That's what they look for as well when they're signing you. So I think he should have passed to Sorrow.
He's just not. There's people in this. Gary on saying that he doesn't look like he's arsed. He doesn't look like he's arsed. Fair enough, he scored today and it was a bit of a deflection. But he's just, people might turn around and say, well, 21 goals, does that show that he's arsed or not? But he could have been better could have been in bigger games. He could have done better. Fair enough, a couple of Europa League games, but didn't score against the enemy. Could have scored at Ibrox, a couple of chances against the enemy. So it's a bit weird coming on doing these podcasts because it's not the same. It's like if you were still in contention of taking the league, you'd be like, look, this is a big victory. It's another victory towards 10, but it's not the same. No, it's just a win for second place this season.
Well, there is that, but at the same time, basically, after every game, it's our job to basically cover the game, and sometimes you get to that stage where you're fed up because we've basically gave the league away, but at the same time, it does kind of help you in a way because you're actually talking about the game, and at least we can have a laugh about it sometimes, and but at the same time we can only we can only play what's in front of us, and if we can get a couple of results in the Glasgow derbies, then I'll be happy with the team. But like I was saying to you before,
happy with the team going on their own for the rest of the season, or happy in just general, because it's very hard to keep. When you're watching that, you're like, what are we playing for? We're just playing a match for 3 points. That's it. What are we playing for? There's no hunger. There's no buzzy feeling about it. There's none of that. Oh Jesus, a couple of more games, the league's done. It just feels weird to watch it. Understand you can't win everything in football. It's just today it was literally the same shit that we watched 10 days ago. We got the 3 points. We got the man of the match performance. We got a clean sheet. Aberdeen put pressure on us. There was a few spells in the game where it's panic stations. in the last 15 minutes, they got a ball crossed into the box, and luckily we crossed it. But I have to say, Christopher Ajer, absolutely brilliant, stuck into everything. When we do lose him, he's going to be a massive loss at the back, especially if Julian's still out.
Yeah, I think so. I'd like to keep a hold of Christopher as long as we can, but it's going to be tough if you're getting like the big clubs like I don't know, Bundesliga clubs, Premiership clubs, like offering big money for him, because he's a brilliant player. I mean, I sometimes feel like it's like Virgil van Dijk when he was younger all over again, you know. And so we've got to hold on to him for as much as he can, because he is a solid centre half and he actually commands that team at the back.
Everywhere he was today, everywhere, stuck in. As I was saying, some people in the comments are saying the Celtic were terrible to get. Aberdeen should have won. That's what it feels like, you know, that way. It just feels like we just got 3 points, got out of jail yet again, got out of jail. No, it's nothing to fucking sing the house down and start saying, Jesus, what we're on the mend. I know people say baby steps, all you can do is win games, but it's still the same formation. It's the same players that are just not arsed. You know, Bruni done well today, or done well. John Joe Kenny done well. I think some spells of the game he tried too hard doing his little flicks and all that, but he got stuck in, and that's what you wanted. I remember the ball got crossed in, and he could have just headed it out and decided to chest it. What caused anxiety for me today was the ball at the back. See, when the ball was past the main a couple of times, they were literally half a fraction off getting capitalising for that.
Yeah, I was nervous when Aberdeen got set pieces on our own half, you know, and especially with the corners. But our team, they did organise it. I mean, there was a good save from Bain at the start of the game when there was a header right in front of him. But I mean, that could have went in, but he just showed he is quite a good keeper from close range. He is a good keeper, I'd say.
I agree there with Paul there about Bruni and Sorrow playing together. We're crying for a holding midfielder, and I don't think we haven't had a decent holding midfielder with Bruni since Joe Lely. And that's the truth. I know, like, we've went on to win leagues and we've won trebles and stuff like that, but we still haven't had that confidence. Like, I know B Tom was put in the mix, but like, we haven't had someone like holding midfield like Ledley or Wanyama, and that's a long time ago. Obviously he changed the tactics around. Turnbull came off, Sorrow came on, McGregor pushed more forward. Still doing the grafting work. I'm not gonna. I know this sounds weird. I'm not trying to take the buzz down here, people. But there's nothing to, as I said, there's nothing to shout about today. There's nothing to get excited and say, Jesus, this is a turning stone. Like, it's the same management, the same laptop, it's the same sulky face Kennedy, it's the same Strachan, and what you've seen with Celtic TV today, you've seen Strachan Gordon Strachan trying to do a nitpick at the fans, saying, well, you're saying you want change. Like, what is the change? What's the change? You clearly know what the change is, Gordon. You were a manager. Yes, you won titles with Celtic. You got Celtic in the Champions League. You know the change is the fans are not happy with the way the structure of the club is being ran. That's what the change is. We don't want your son as a coach. He's not good enough for Celtic, and that's the facts. He hasn't done enough on his CV to be in there as a coach. Peterborough, what do you do? Like, Jesus, going from the posh to Glasgow Celtic. It's frustrating. Like, I just feel fucking pissed off watching the last every time. I know we're winning, but at the same time, it doesn't feel right. Because we're winning 1-0, yeah, at home, but like, no disrespect, Aberdeen should have beaten us.
Yeah, the goal was early in the start of the game, and then we just felt like we were holding on to a 1-0 lead. It was really embarrassing, but like, sure, we've got
Edouard should have passed that ball off to Sorrow, and this malarkey where literally when you get to the tip of the box and they're looking around and they're trying to pick out a player. There should have been a strikers should have been made. You know, strikers should have been came on. The likes of, I know Polish Paddy came off from Mohamed Anusi. Mohamed Anusi done the graft work. He wasn't clinical at attacking, he wasn't great attacking, but he done the work where he got in, tracked back, got a few tackles in. But we had Yeti we have a 5-minute striker on the bench. We're not playing him. We have Griffiths on the bench where his head is up his arse because we don't know what's going to happen with him. He's 1 year left. If you want to get some sort of money for Griffiths, you play him. You bring him on for the last 20 minutes. He knows how to score against Aberdeen. He scored against Aberdeen in Batodry at the start of the season. A cracking goal as well when he came off the bench. So I really don't know what's going on with it. Really don't know. It's like it's the same shit that we had with Neil Lennon. And as I said, it's going to be like that for the rest of the season. And people are saying, I wonder if we're going to see a big change today. I wonder if they did turn up. Like the first 20 minutes, they turned up and it looked like they were pushed for it. But Aberdeen got that chances. And I was watching bits of it off. I was watching on 2 different streams. I was actually watching on Celtic TV and I was watching on Aberdeen TV. And Aberdeen TV made a good point saying that this is strange that Celtic are ahead with that goal. Well, we've caught the pressure. It's a strange situation.
Yeah, it was. You do feel nervous at times, but especially there was a lot of talk on Twitter about Celtic TV. There was some technical difficulties, which I apologised for on Celtic TV. But there's a lot of fans out there that are like,
how can you avoid that? How can you avoid that?
Yeah, what am I paying for? You know, I mean, if they're season ticket holders and they're giving it for free, it's still, I mean, with Celtic's money, like they're taking from season ticket holders and all the millions they've got.
And they're using an American streaming system. Like Verizon's a big company in America. Like that's like the Virgin Media of America, and they do the mobile and all that. Absolutely shocking.
So there's going to be a write-up about that tomorrow in the papers, I think. So it's just not good enough. I mean, the product on the park, the product off the park, i.e. Celtic TV, it's just shocking, like how they're treating the fans right now.
Yeah, Stephen says Kennedy shot at picking his own tactics today. Such a letdown of a game. I think we're all a bit excited. I wasn't think it was excited. I just wanted a bit more urgency over. Like Brown played well, Ajer played well, McGregor was decent. Turnbull was actually all right today. Like he's Christie spells the game. First half was all right. No, I just can't wait to see James Forrest come back in. We need a bit of urgency on that right wing. And I think for the last couple of games, if it's a case that we get Forrest back in for the last 3 games, the last 4 games, I know there's an international break coming up as well. That'll give him a bit of chance to train hard as well. It'd be nice to see John Joe and James getting up that wing. Like,
yeah, John Joe played brilliant today. I mean, he had some really good bursts of pace up the wing, crossed the ball in. He also defended really well as well. So did Laxo. I mean, that's been the best I've seen.
He didn't actually. Do you know what? For the change, as much as I give Laxall abuse, Laxall done the important things right, and he didn't give away stupid fouls. He didn't really give away stupid fouls today. Like you thought, like, that's the ego for you. But as I said, that tackle around the 55th minute, Camberdi was going 1-on-1, and he came like the tracking back and got the ball. That's something that was what tackle. I want to talk about the handball. Did it look like a handball? Did you think, obviously, with the Aberdeen lads in their box towards the last 15 minutes of the game, do you think it was a handball? I don't think it was.
It was hard to tell, but it's because see Celtic TV, the camera angles and that, I couldn't really tell, but it looked like it was near the sand when he was down. But it's just one of the he says she says thing, you know what I mean? The referee, Willie Colm, he's got a decision to make. Mm-hmm. So if it's not in his direction, if he goes, all right, well, I'm not going here, I'll give him benefit of doubt, and fair enough. But I mean, if we were like 1-0 down, for instance, we would have been screaming for that handball. So, but we were 1-0 up, and it doesn't look like it was intentional. So
it's getting to the stage where we're going on to these post matches and previews. People are not actually talking about the pitch. They're not talking about the players on the pitch. People are talking about what the shitstorm has happened. People are getting on about the shitstorm. They're not talking about, oh Jesus, I was great today. Everybody's talking about what has happened wrong. What is happening wrong? You know, I think if Celtic Football Club hire John Kennedy as the manager next season, you know what? Don't even consider people trying to get that title back in any fashion.
I don't think it'll happen. I'm like, what would I call the odds? 90-10 for that will happen. So it's basically 90% positive that won't happen.
I wonder how he's going to get. Like, I know we've done the United away in Tannadice. Now that's always a tough place to go, and then we have Rangers at Celtic Park, the controversial guard of honour. As I said already, folks, on this, because the fans are not in the stadiums, just give it to them. Just give it to them. You know, just get over and done with. Because if you don't do it, it's going to be we're typical Celtic sore losers, and I couldn't accept losing the league for their own mistakes. Just get over and done with. It's sports. You know, like, you don't want to have that stubborn.
I'm saying that as well. I mean, it might even change people's perspective on the game. You know, if we did give Rangers a guard honour. So there's been a lot of people saying that. Give them a guard honour. I mean, like, obviously we've lost the title. It's like one of the people are saying in the comments, it's February now and we've lost the title. It's embarrassing. But at the same time,
we lost the title back in December. We lost the title back in November when we drew to Hibs, we drew to Aberdeen. So I just think we were holding on a string that the club were going to make some sort of change, bring in better signings, make Lennon depart, and that didn't happen. You know, it didn't happen. An absolute mockery. What a waste of money for people that have been supporting Celtic a long time. I understand you could finish second place and you'd be like, you know what, we were unlucky to win the league because we dropped points at this place, or we lost to Rangers in that game. It's not that. It's a string of shite.
Yeah, basically, I tried to convince myself over the season, yeah, it's going to get better, and then last week I was like, no, I accepted, no, it's shite, we've lost the league.
Someone was saying it's Neil Lennon 2.0, what we're seeing today. And you know what, this is the thing where he's saying, now Lennon's tried, 4 different formations this season, and I know Kennedy's probably thinking, I'll go to safeguard because previous games you won with the Diamonds. Now, Rodgers wasn't available today. I don't know what was wrong with Tom Rodgers. I don't know if he was injury. As I said, he could have changed that around 60 minutes in. He could have brought Albany, Yeti on and Griff on and gave Eddie a rest.
Yeah.
There was no service going to Eddie. There was feck all service going to Eddie from the 70th minute. There was nothing going into him. And then when he got the chance, I don't know what he was thinking he was Lionel Messi or something. Like, Eddie's quality. But Darren O'D touched on it on Celtic TV that why does he have to do these extra touches? He doesn't need to. He just needs to get the simple things right.
Yeah, he does all the step overs and then
he's not Cristiano Ronaldo, like. That's what Ronaldo done with his 4 seasons, you know, step overs, trying too hard. Just he's a striker. He knows terminology of getting beating players and scoring.
In his first couple of seasons at Celtic, he used to get the ball. He used to get a through ball, run at defenders, put the ball in the top corner. That's what he was good at. And recently, he's just been falling over his own feet, trying to skin about 4 defenders. Ajer, he skinned about 3 defenders a day and still kept the ball.
There was a point in the game. There was a point in the game where trying to remember where he got the ball, which was the tip. He literally had the ball from outside the box, whatever it was, and I'd say it was like 7 seconds later, it was over, covering the net back, stuck in. I was just like, "Geez, this guy is everywhere," you know.
Yeah, he was shouting at midfield and the forwards because he was the one doing the work. He's getting about 3 Aberdeen players, and then he's just basically saying, "Come on, to," you know. So, and he's quite right to do it. And I mean, I think that he'll be a future captain for Celtic.
So. The embarrassment won't be giving them a ground honour. It's the players that put no fight in. And that's the funny, as I said this a couple of days ago to Liam and a few people, because I wouldn't be surprised if we'd actually go out and beat them that day. Really would not be surprised whatsoever. Look, there's no point of going on about it. Like, it happens. Simple as that. You know, we just have to go on, turn up that day and play football. like every game for the rest of the season, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's that case of every time I watch the Celtic game, as painful as it is, they're my team, so I've still got to watch it.
But isn't it weird to say like it's painful to watch, but yet we won today?
Well, we won 1-0 and we like held on. I mean, we near the end we just wasted and put the ball into the corner, which is basic things to do. I mean, if you've got a 1-0 lead, they basically took the head out their arse and basically just like held on to the 1-0 lead. So, which is all right. Their ego didn't get in the way of them.
What time you go on live, Keith? I won't be on live tonight, Sean. And there's nothing really to celebrate, to be honest with you. I know it's a win, but like as I said, it's not. I don't think. I think in people's heads for this season is what the hell is to celebrate? What is to celebrate? Like this is meant to be the quad treble champions. Like beaten by Ross County last week, scraping results against an Aberdeen team that have only won 1 in the last 11.
Yeah, I
mean, desperate.
Yeah, I do feel for other fans that are feeling as much as us. I mean, basically, Ryan Christie said he was hurting because the fans questioned the performance. Well, my eyes were bloody hurting by the amount of shit football you were playing. Oh man, it was just. I mean, he can't really. I said in a comment today about under that post, I bet his bank balance isn't hurting. That's what I said. So I mean, like he's got to realise fans pay their wages. Of course, they're going to be hurting if we're in really bad form and we're just scraping by with results, which is happening. I mean, we're just scraping by, and we're playing in autopilot just now. So it's just not good enough.
As I was saying already, like the only way we would have seen a team reacting with a 4 or 5-0 win today, if the whole coaching set was changed around and a new formation was tried, a new management was brought in. It's the same clutter that's in there. The only difference is McManus is brought into the team now. Kennedy is gone. Not Kennedy. Lennon's gone. Kennedy should be gone. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you want if you're taking out the first team manager, you want like the fans to be excited about the new product you're bringing, the new coaching staff you're bringing in, but they've still got Kennedy and they've got McManus that's been moved up from. He was in the Reses, wasn't
he? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's been nothing new, so the fans are not going to be excited about that. But I mean, that suits the board.
I think it'd be different if there was actually fans in the stadium. Like, give them more of a bite, you know. It would have been different if there was fans in the stadium today. But like, that's still a long time away. And that's I'm saying I feel sorry for people that actually want to renew the season, book next season. They don't know when they're going to get back in. And as you touched on a bit of streaming service, what's the point of paying 400 or 500 quid for this season coming, where we don't know where the club is going? There's no, as they said, a roadmap. There's no roadmap. There's no plan in place that stages where this club is going next season. Like saying, right, look at, we're getting Dominic McCoy's coming in. Celtic Football Club should know this. And I know he's a good director for the Scottish Rugby Association. But if Celtic Football Club were serious, if the board were actually serious about making these changes and rebuild for the future, they should be paying him off, paying that Scottish Rugby Association off, and getting him in the door on Monday. Because they're making it out all over the TV that it's like, it's okay. John's coming into the end of the season. We've had a bad season. It's not a bad season. It's been a nightmare of a season. On and off the pitch.
Yeah, it has been there. There's just been drama almost every week. And that suits the Celtic board fine because they know that they've not got any fans coming in the stadium every week. That's what I've said. It suits them fine. I mean, like, they've not interacted with us, and when they have, Peter Wall had a script that the person asking them questions and the Celtic media had to follow, and it was pre-arranged.
He hasn't done press conferences. He hasn't done media questions like in the most Time where you need a CEO to step up to play, he hasn't done it. Yes, like he has done a lot in the past. He's helped Celtic get out from 30 million on 100 million up to the 30 plus revenue. You know, I understand that, like stuff like that, you have to respect. But this season, you can't give him any respect for what he's done. You know, he hasn't. He had a chance to change this around when this all started back after Ross County, and he was convinced that Neil was the right man. Came out with a statement saying they were reviewing it. They did so-called review it. Came out to Celtic Fan TV and said that was not a financial strategy before they make the appointment of a manager. That's not good enough.
No, it's not good enough.
It's not, and that's it, and that's not even the board acting. The board didn't act this week. If they're saying that Neil resigns, the board didn't act on that decision. The only time the board acted on the decision is when Lawwell himself said he's leaving at the end of the season and they recruited someone. You know, that 11 million for Jeremy Frimpong, I don't know if we're ever going to see it. Like if they're really ambitious, they have a player there, John Kenny, that actually played well. It's defensively minded. Get paid the 6 million, pay the 7 million or 8 million from Everton. If he wants to play for Celtic and put the short on and actually have a chance of winning trophies, he's not going to get that at Everton. He's not going to get that.
He's a brilliant player. I mean, like
Angelotti's not going to give him a chance.
Is it one of the things that is it a case of will Everton sell it at the correct price, or will they up the price for John Joe because he's still?
Well, a lot of people are saying, well, would you not do what we done with El Nusi, get him back on another season on loan and see what will happen? Because you know what Everton like, they buy and sell players 24 all the time, like in the windows. They can't just keep a consistent squad there.
No, he is a good player. I'd love to see him play for Celtic because he does look the part, and he controls the wing he's on, and his crossing's brilliant as well. That's what we need. We need decent crossing because we've not had that. We've not had that recently, especially with Frimpong. Frimpong was a good wee player. He had a good bust.
Tagging was, but he could not cross as well.
No, couldn't.
Cross. No,
we've missed that for a while. Ever since James has been out as well. I mean, some of his crossing was all right.
Now Hammond could cross. Now Hammond could actually cross a ball. You know, a couple of goals. You know, like Lee Griffith's header in Perth, Mohamed Nusi's header in Motherwell, the hat-trick game. You know, there's people forget about this is a season where you're going to turn around and say, what was the game? What was the whole game this season? Highlight game. I
would say obviously the League Cup final, the Scottish Cup final, and winning the quadruple treble.
It doesn't count. Doesn't count because it's not. It's a last season's achievement. Yes, we're wearing the Adidas kit, and yet it's played in this season's schedule. But no.
No, there's no highlight game this season. I would say I can't pick a game out of the lineup because.
European League, obviously the Lille game was unreal. That was a change or something, but the change wasn't good enough. It still didn't bring results. The results that we needed in the big games in the Glasgow Derby, come back from the boy beating Hibs home. Like if that was Easter Road, we drew with the Hibs, we'd be like, you know what, that's kind of self-inflicted. Always happens, but Jordan Livingston away. It's just the character of the team, and that's down to the manager. That's down to the coach. The coach is like, it was just might as well just saying that Neil Lennon was on sick leave today. That's what you might as well just said.
Garden leave. We've got somebody from Vancouver watching. Cheers.
Yeah. Living in Vancouver, a true Celtic fan will always support Celtic. We have won 9 or more so-called Celtic fans and never since support our boy. Yeah, but the thing is, Sean, is we have overachieved, and that's no question about it. But it's the character of the team. It's the character of the board. There's no like when fans are more lonely than anything else, lonely ever. That connection with the club, they're not getting that back. They're not getting the love back that they used to get. You could go to Celtic Park, you could actually get a picture with some Celtic players. If you're lucky, You know, you feel like you're there, you're at home. You don't have that. You know, the more this goes on, the more you feel like you're being dragged away from Celtic as much as you love it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, being in lockdown, you at least want to see a good performance week out, week out from Celtic. But it's just been a terrible season, and it's just making us feel worse. You know. But there's nothing really we can do about it.
I'm getting to the stage now where people ask me on social media, who do you want in? Who do you want in? I want Frank Lampard. Oh, I want this. I want that. We can want these people. We can want them. Yes, some of these are good managers. Some of these have a good CV. But as I keep repeating keep repeating this to people, it's selling this to them, selling this shitstorm to them, and saying, well, oh, don't worry, Frank. Oh, don't worry, Rafa. It's all great up here in Glasgow. It's you have a nice key there. We're going to make sure that you actually you're in control of the transfers. Like, we haven't had a manager control transfers in a long time.
Yeah, well, that's why we've got a new chairman in, because he would definitely think differently to what Peter Law will, and hopefully, I heard in the SRU that he's invested a lot of money into rugby, so hopefully he can do the same with Celtic. Because I don't know, did he not get that? Yeah, he got that New Zealand coach for, I think it was New Zealand, but he's like the first team coach for the.
He's one of the head operations in the Pro 14 as well. So like this is a lad we need to keep him away from the football perspective of the pitch. We need to have a director of football in there that knows how to attract players, that can sell it to them. You know, yes, he can go in as a big businessman and guarantee the million stars, but we need a manager needs that. We need a back. I mean, that's what Brendan didn't have. Brendan didn't have that at Celtic. Neil didn't have that at Celtic. People might argue and say, well, 18 million was spent on players in the last 12 months. But I guarantee you, a majority of them players, Neil didn't want them players. And the same with Brendan, and the same with Ronnie. You know, I don't think Ronnie Doyle was looking at Gary McCoy-Steve, and I don't think he was looking at Stuart Armstrong. That's down to the scouting system. Yeah, Armstrong, he was a success. We sold him to Southampton for good money. But now, don't get me wrong, there has been some great recruitment in the past from Celtic. Now, that's when we had different recruiting staff back in Neil M's first term, with the likes of getting Wanyama in. You know, like Jeremy Frimpong was a great sell-on. But like, I'm worried. I'm really worried that I just, I was saying today when I watched this game, I really hope we keep Ajer. I really don't give it. I don't care if we lose Rogic, Edouard, all these players. I just want to keep Ajer. I really want to keep Ajer, and that's someone that wants to play for sure. Even his interview after, he was just like, no disrespect to Aberdeen, they're a good team, and we knew it was going to be a tough game.
Yeah, Ajer, he fights for every ball up and down the park, and that's what you need. Somebody playing for the jersey. You need about 11 players playing for the jersey, but we've not got that now.
Mm. So I'm saying, I'm getting stage here, I'm literally just fed up. We've been talking to change of manager since October and November.
Yeah, it's getting to the stage where I'm just waiting for the Euros just to cheer myself up a bit during the summer. But I'm just wanting this season done, and then just like hopefully we can build. I just
don't think that they have this winning mentality. I just don't think that these players have the urge. I think they've realised, like we've done the quad travel, we've done the 9 in a row. I think a lot of them have just realised that they're settled in their job. They're not willing to go an extra level. And what I mean by that is putting the performance in, getting double goals, or playing free flow football. It's as I said, there's been talks of splitting the camps, splitting culture, so you get your French boys and your Scottish boys and whoever. If there's that break in the camp, you need to bring someone in that's respected as a manager that doesn't have that break in the camps. Yeah, all one unit, one team that went on to win 9 titles. One team. Yes, there's been players come and go, but Bruni should be stepping in there and saying, "Look, lads, cut this shit. Edouard, Sorrow, Julian, whoever, get over here. We're all one unit. Yes, you see the pictures of them all trying together, but we need that. We need these boys need to be like brothers to each other. They're really going to realise that. I'm putting this on. It's more than just a cash flow. This is a big, big club. And if, as you said, it's a down to character with Edouard, you know, if it's a case of being great, if a club is looking at like potential of Odds and Edouard coming in, can he produce assists? Can he show that he meant to give that assist to that lad and he felt happy passing that ball up? Because, you know, real strikers, you know, fair enough, Ruud van Nistelrooy was key for it, but it doesn't always work. And you need that, and you're not guaranteed that he's going to be on his own up front forever he does next season. I just think we look desperate when we bring Mohamed Nussi on, and he was Edouard was up front on his own. There was no service.
No, it's just one of the things. It's like, is he like that? Is he a greedy player? I mean, the answer is yeah, because Sorrell's right in front. He was only about 10 yards away from him, if that, and he just needed to just toe poke it to him, and then Sorrell would put it in because he was open. And I think the coaching staff, they're not going to be happy with him for that. I mean, if a player's next to you and you can't take a play on in front of you, then
could have passed the ball on before the second lad tried to get into the block. I know McGregor had a chance at the end. He was unlucky not to score that one. But it's just there wasn't enough urgency. There wasn't enough aggression from the team to go and get more than one goal. You know, and if that carries on going the next season where we scored early and the game is dragging into the 70th minute, and whoever we have at the back, I'd be worried. I'd be really worried because so we need to get a good defensive coaching. That's one of the biggest things as well. Never know.
I think we're going to buy at least 5 or 6 players, and there'll be a few players going out the door during the summer, I think. Because, I mean, you don't want to change your team about too much because obviously these guys train together, they hang out together, they play. Because, I mean, a drastic change. Yeah, but the same time as well, are these players willing to stay on and do the new chapter? Because this is a new chapter. Like this, Steve Oakley came out and said, Neil Lennon has came out and said it's a rebuild. It's a rebuild, and everyone knows it's a rebuild. That era of winning 9 in a row and 4 treble, I think Celtic fans, you have to realise next season it's going to be very hard to win that league back. Now I don't know if it's the case that Rangers will be still at the level that they were this season. It's just in general, like it's the games of Easter Road that we have to overcome. Like this season, Aberdeen has been our pussy whip team, and that's the truth because we beat them in the Scottish Cup. I know we drew 3-0 with it away to put Tawdry, but like games like that we've won against them, but we should be beating the bigger teams, which is Rangers. Yeah, we should be beating
Ross County as a bigger team. You know, that's like putting your fingers up and saying that. Like Ross County, like drawing to St. Johnson, losing to a St. Mirren team. That's last time they won was at Celtic Park was back in 1990. Like, holy Jesus!
But the thing is, you're going to get teams like that. They might end up having a really crap game against Hamilton or Motherwell.
Yeah, but they know they can go to Celtic Park, and all they need to do is just analyse the goals that went in against Celtic, and they're all very similar. All the goals are very similar.
Because
dead ball, free kick, bang, at the very back post, player hits it, there you go. Or it's even the European disasters, like the keeper gets the save onto it, and then the players are trying to clear it. Like some of Duffy's attempted clearance were desperate, and not just Duffy, the defence desperate. Even the penalties we gave away this season, like the Charles penalty, Scott Brown's penalty at Hibs, Callum McGregor's penalty at Tawdry, like these like Brown is an icon. He's an absolute icon. I love Scott Brown. I always have loved Scott Brown. But like stuff like that, you don't give away to your former employer. You are chasing Rangers in October. I don't know how many points was it at the time. I think it was 13 points at the time, or 11 points or something at that time.
Yeah.
And he gives away a stupid penalty, and Hibs should have beaten us that day. Yes, we had a good 20 minutes, the last 20 minutes of that, when he brought Griffiths on and went with the formation, and then obviously Edouard's for the penalty. But it's just been desperate. Celtic look like a middle team, a middle average, how would you say, middle table team? Is that the best way to explain it?
Yeah, I would say a lot like a Dundee United just now. But it's just one of the things that we've got to hurry up and finish the season, and we've got an international break. We play. Is it Dundee United next week? You play
Dundee United and international break. Look, Scott Brown was good today, and I touched him and said he had a good performance. But I won't be on this long, folks. We're going to be getting off in a few minutes. If he's watching YouTube, shout out to everyone on Facebook, shout out to everyone on Twitter. As I said, this is not nothing to brag on about. So yeah, we won 1-0. We scraped and won the result.
Yeah, I was. I mean, to think that I was actually relieved that we beat Aberdeen 1-0. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, have a word with yourself, man. Because, but as the players should be saying that. They should be like looking deeply in the mirror, saying, by the way, we just scraped a 1-0 result against a really bad Aberdeen team.
Like, this is a team. Scott Brown came and said the other day that this team at home because Neil's gone. Like, they should have been went there with a bit of hunger, saying, you know what, we have no fans. Let's do it, lads. Let's go out there and really put Aberdeen to the swords. And he didn't.
I just wouldn't say that. I mean, Scott Brown, Ajer, and that, like, they're real guys, right? They get stuck in. There's too many. It's just too many boys there that have been like almost taken care of. Like, it's okay, next week's all right. I mean, like, take for Christie, for instance, right? He's not got any urgency. You've got to get stuck in. I mean, every player in that team has got to get stuck in. They've just got to have a bit of drive about them, or as Lenny said, oomph. I hate that word, man. It's terrible. But
I know people are running around and watching this and like, Keith, it's a win. What are you moaning about? I'm moaning because in general we've been short this season, and I know people are saying, well, look, it's baby steps to get where we need to be. It's the case that he could have changed that formation around today. He could have bring Griffiths and Yeti on. We have firepower on that bench to get more goals. We scraped a 1-0 result. A 1-0 result against a team that won one game in 10. A desperate Aberdeen side. Yes, they played well 10 days ago. That's what my point is today. And that's what Liam's point is today. You know, it's simply not good enough. Simply not good enough. As I said, I don't think this board is taking this serious. People keep asking, saying, do you think that Desmond has someone lined up already and he's waiting to the end of the season? I really don't know. I think that's the thing, and that's what's frustrating a lot of us, because it's what if stuff. What if we can get this manager? What if we can't get this manager? You know, we're a bigger club. We should be going out there and selling this to someone. When a manager resigns, get out there and get out to your fans and say, look, we are right now in the mix. Don't start obviously leaking names that we're talking to. So we're in the mix. We will have an answer for you as soon as I can. Keep fans in on a consistent weekly basis. They're quick enough to send an email out about when there's a sale on. They're quick enough to send an email out when there's a DVD out. Yeah.
I mean, like, all I'm doing is looking at Twitter to see any rumours, and I'm looking at the betting odds for the next
best DVD, by the way, folks. The best one.
I've not seen it yet. It's any good?
Oh God, I got that back in 2012. I put a tear in your eye, you know. Oh, unreal. Wow, he's held some wrong days.
His last game, the BBC showed that I think it was at the end of last season.
His last league games against Dundee United, he had the double.
Yeah, I was still in. It still puts me to tears this day. You know, I mean, I was only a teenager back then, and I was beside myself, man. I mean, like, he was just a great.
Then the Scottish Cup final 3-1 against Dunfermline, Peshoff, and his double in that green jersey. Then his last official game at Celtic Park was against Sevilla.
Yeah, he was just an icon. I mean, best icon since Jimmy Johnson. So,
what do you think about Ollie there? It's a good point. The SPL is not appealing to some managers, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if you give them a tool where you say, right, you're guaranteed you're going to play Europa League football next season. You have a chance to get Champions League football next season. But whatever you need to touch up the squad and see that you have a caliber of even getting this team to compete in the Europa League, give them the money. Give them that, as I say, give them that boss authority. Make them feel like they're the big balls and they can come around and say, right, look at Dominic. I'll be looking at this lad from the Championship. Good player. Like, for example, that Irish lad, Knight, that plays for Derby, he'd be deadly for Celtic. I know we could have Turnbull. I know we have Turnbull, but...
Yeah, see the diamond formation, do you think that the new manager will stick with that? Because I don't think so.
I think when James Forrest comes back in, we need to change that diamond.
Yeah, I think that exposes us too much in the bottom half of midfield, it does. And we're always relying on somebody picking up a loose ball, which is not good enough because we're getting beaten away.
Your flat four for next season. You need your flat four. You need your two defensive midfielders. So if it's Sorrow or McGregor, put them in there. You need Turnbull behind the striker on its own, because I don't know who we're going to get in. I don't know who's going to be a striker next season. If it's Lee, Albion, Hodson, Patrick, we should be getting another striker in anyway next season. So, and then your two wingers. So you get your Mikey Johnsons or your James Forrest. We need pace in the wings. That's what we were saying. It's all about crossing. We should have been getting way more goals this season.
We also need a well-recognised keeper. I'm not saying Scott Bain's no well recognised, but at the same time,
he's not the same. It's not the same hand that we can rely on in European games.
No, we need another Fraser Foster. That's what we need, because the $5 million we spent in Barkas, he's not even shown it on the training pitch. He's not tried to fight for his place as number one, because Bainey's been number one in front of him. What does that tell you? It tells you he can't be arsed. He's just picking up a paycheck. That's what it tells you.
We don't know what's going on behind the scenes with Barkas. As I said, Barkas is linked to go back to Greece on loan or even be sold. People might laugh around and say, but I think we could sell Barkas for the price we got him for, because he's a Greek international. I think people might turn around and say, well, it hasn't worked out for him at Celtic, but he still has the potential of being a really good keeper. Champions League experience.
Yeah, I think that if you'd done that, then it would just there'd be a lot of fans saying to the club, well, what was the point in that then? But I mean, obviously they've got to cut the losses some way. I mean, like, if they're going to make just over $5 million for him, which is very doubtful, because I think his stocks probably went down. If you can get $5 million from him, then obviously take it and take the criticism on board.
Definitely. Right, look, folks, I'm going to leave it there tonight. I have to go and have a shower, crack a can of Guinness, celebrate the big win, folks.
That's a brilliant one.
That's it. The Barkas Guinness at this rate. No, but okay, there is positives. There is positives today. The positives is we had a clean sheet. Positives that
we've got a decent centre half there.
Decent centre half.
If it's had 2 man matches. So.
Decent centre half that you're hoping the clock doesn't run down. At the same time, you want the clock to run down because it's a shy season, but you don't want the clock to run down because you actually enjoy watching Ajer being a battler. Yeah,
I mean, it's something we've not had in a while. And I think Ajer's just stepped up and basically commanded that line. And I hope that continues, especially going into the Glasgow Derby game. Dundee United game and then international play. Glasgow Derby, hopefully we get something.
I really believe Ryan Christie could turn the corner on this one. I really believe he has the potential to be quality, really quality. I just think a lot of people need to lay off him. I know we call him Rose Ed Christie, but you seen what he can produce last season. What he produced even at Aberdeen alone, even Europa League games he scores and stuff like that. Christie has potential to be a really good player. It's just maybe he needs the right manager, the right system. Like he's been playing out of position all season. He doesn't play on the right. He plays in the middle.
Yeah, there is a player in there. It might be just something behind the scenes that's been going on, and that's put him off his game, which is probably, considering that's probably happened to a lot of Celtic players this season. But we won't get told nothing, obviously, because it's probably confidential.
See that comment there, did you?
No, I didn't see it. What is it? See you tonight. I think you probably will go in tonight. If you've had a few Guinnesses, you probably will go in.
I have a great regard into the time, you know, so you have to see what the crack is.
I think some of the Come On the Hoop Celtic fans will probably have a sweepstake on it. Will Keith go on tonight after a few Guinnesses?
I'm still 188 to 1 to take the job. That's right. You know, I would do a better job than Kennedy. At least I'd be screaming on the pit, screaming. So let's come on, push it.
Yeah, I put a fiver on you and bet 365.
Yeah, I'll have the notepad. I'd be a suit man though. I won't be a tracksuit man. I just, you know, what's the point? Go out suit. You know, you want to show the club that's why Neil Lennon should have had a suit on this season, showing that he's actually really the man that would really care.
You've got to show you the OG, the manager game, you know.
Yeah, look at the big BR. BR wore the suit all the time, didn't he? Tell me you wore your tracksuits when you're doing pre-season. That's it. It is suit. Like fair enough. Jürgen looks great. Jürgen looks great. The tracksuit. Jürgen's just one of the lads, you know. But like, suit's a way. It's a way forward.
Jürgen's a maniac, man. I like him, but I mean, he's a
man. You think he's gonna leave Liverpool at the end of the season? One day he will manage Celtic. One day, hopefully.
Do you think he will leave Liverpool at the end of the season?
Yeah, he's gonna leave Liverpool. I know they were talking about. People are like, we're on to Liverpool. I think he will. I think he's a lot going on in his personal life, you know. And I think he's overachieved at Liverpool.
Yeah, he's done brilliant as a manager at Liverpool, and he's went from Dortmund to Liverpool, so he's just a really good manager. I hope we would have got him for Celtic, but it's one of the things you can only dream.
That's it. I'm just all this manager stuff issues. Absolutely give me a migraine. I'm sick of hearing it now. I'm sick of people asking me the same question. Like, we just get to the stage where, like, say if I go live on TikTok or Instagram, they're all like, who should be the next manager? Like, well, tell you what. If you have a smartphone there, mate, there's a link. There's a YouTube channel. Click onto it. There's loads of content that talk to the next Celtic managers. Use that. Watch that. And stop asking me. I know people say it's a general question. I'm like, well, you get the same general question thrown at you 100 times, you know.
Yeah,
is your job safe at the end of the season? Like, I don't blame him for losing the head, you know.
At least Roy Keane's basically said, I don't want the Celtic job. I was relieved with that because he would just lose the dressing room his first days employed as a manager at Celtic.
But you don't know. Like, as much as people predict that, you don't know what Roy Keane is like behind the scenes, though. People like I don't think Roy Keane would be fit for Celtic. You know, I don't think he's done enough managerial experience to do Celtic. You know, like you might say, oh well, he was second man at Villa, second man in the Ireland Fall, second man at Nottingham Forest. He managed Ipswich Town, Jeezy, Holly Ballou, Ipswich Town. You know, they have been a good team since the 70s, since Bobby Robson. But like, yeah, well, fair enough. They finished fourth, top four 1 year when Matty Holland was like the caca on the pitch. So yeah. But like, no, definitely not. So, folks, I want to wish everyone a happy Saturday night. I hope you are all keeping safe, keeping well. I appreciate the support on the channel. There's probably a 10% chance I will go live on Facebook later on and have a few scoops, a few tunes. As I said, I have a great party at the end. So, because I want to be fresh. My little girl's birthday's tomorrow as well, so I don't want to be up to half the night drinking Guinness, playing the same loophole songs, getting people annoying me at me because I want to play them songs. So, you know, that's it. Exactly. That's it. Look, at the end of the day, we didn't lose today. But at least we're not coming on, like, I know we did have a moment, but at least we're not coming on saying, I'm fucking this, that, you know.
No, we win the loser shit. That's not our style.
That's it. I think overall in the long term, you show spells of losing the rag this season. That's it. You know, that's the joy. That's like, when I look back now, maybe 3 or 4 years time or next season, like, Jesus Christ, remember I was a craggy shite in that. Remember I was just moaning. But that's the passion of football. That's the love of football. I could be just like, oh, just lost today. Oh, we just won today. You know, you go on, express it. Say how it is. Say how it is.
There probably has been times in different previous podcasts where I've lost my shit, but I mean, I don't realise it because I mean I'm not stuck in the podcast, because sometimes you get in the zone and then you go back in the video and you're going, holy shit, did I just fucking say that?
That's the joy. Like, you don't want to be scripted. Just go with the flow. Go with the flow. No, you know. I love that jersey up. I just don't want to take that jersey down. That was the jersey that started. That's the jersey.
No, I've just got my Conor McGregor picture, my Kieran Tierney picture. I know a lot of people like Kieran Tierney in that because he went for a better job, but I still.
Well, that's their opinion. You know, I like Tierney. The boy from Castle.
You know.
That's it. You know, you get a chance to play for Celtic. You join Celtic at 7 years of age and played Celtic to your early 20s, and you won a treble. You won trebles. I think you've overachieved. And the people might say, no, the 10, but you know what? If you've won a treble, so you know you've done it. He could have stayed on, yes, he could have stayed on, but you know what? He had a chance. He didn't know where he was going with his career, with his injuries. He had a chance to go to Arsenal, and Arsenal are nowhere near the club of Celtic. He went down. He wanted to go to challenge himself at different levels, and people couldn't get that. People couldn't, because that was the attachment that we looked at as Tierney, as a player. He was obviously coming through the system, knows the importance. He didn't want to leave Celtic. Eventually, he had to leave Celtic. And you know what? As he says in his interview, it didn't cost you as much to bring me through. He's got 25 million now, you know?
Yeah. He scored the winner the other night in the Europa League as well, so...
Yeah, that's it. Stephen, you're completely right. You know, these people that, like, give him a Judas abuse and all that, they're not real fans. You know, like, he didn't say a bad word. He didn't say, I'm leaving Celtic because the fans are this and that. I'm leaving Celtic because I wasn't happy. You know, if it was something like that, you'd turn around and say, yeah, fair enough. He's an absolute scumbucket. But, you know, he done what he could for Celtic. He had the passion for the fans. He had the passion of winning. Look what he done in the Scottish Cup final, for God's sake. You know, like, he wasn't there for the pay slip. He was there for the passion.
Yeah, if anybody wants a picture like as good as this, then obviously my mate Gio Thomas's website, he does quite a lot of pictures like this. He does MMA, boxing and football pictures and Peaky Blinders ones, and as well as some other good films. What I'll do is I'll post this video up my Twitter, and I'll also post the link to his website, like the link up there.
Yeah, so there's the picture there. Geo K Art, folks. So yeah, he does loads of different pictures. I've had a few pictures of him, and I had a Brimley signed one back in the old house.
He's also really good in good time shipping wise. I mean, I don't like people that delay with their shipping. I'm like, come on, I don't like chasing people up, but Gio's really reliable that way. And like, once you order, you will get your order in time.
That's good. Well, look, thank you very much, folks, for hitting the hour point. So have a good one.
Yeah,
God
bless.
Take care.